Thank you so much for staying tuned. If you just joined us, TMI Sunday's edition. In this particular segment, we're taking a look at the forthcoming supplementary election. Matters are rising. Don't forget that INEC, they've given us the assurance that come 15th of April, there'll be supplementary elections in some states of the federation. Some part has to do with the governorship election. Some others talk about the National Assembly, the Senate and House of Rep. While for some few ones, which bring it down to the state houses of assembly election. Many people have been talking about it, and you get to feel the pulse of many Nigerians. Some are saying, look, this election is a done deal already, it's done and dusted. Many are saying that they're not interested in it because what they had in mind is not what they saw in previous election. Why very few just have one or two interests in the election. And that brings about this question. Do you think the election will be a true reflection of the wish of the people? Do you think that it will be like the previous election? Do you feel that there might just be voters' apathy? Or what about the money politics? Will it be as massive, as intense as the other election? How is it right now in your area? The campaigns are not going on. Are you feeling the pulse, or is just supplementary election? What's the big deal? Whatever, let it come and go. So what side of the divide do you really belong to? With me here in the studio, I have a youth mobilizer, a party man, an entrepreneur, a political analyst. Join me to welcome Samuel Ehigato, aka Aras. Welcome to TMI Sunday's edition. I appreciate your coming.
Good morning, Wilson. Happy Easter. Congratulations for your newborn baby.
Oh, thank God for that.
The family is jollifying now.
Yeah.
According to the Benin tradition, whoever that gave birth to a daughter, riches have come.
Riches have come.
So I pray the riches get to you.
Amen to that too. Amen to that. We need the riches. Seriously, we do. Well, I tried getting across to Alex Felix, yes, via Zoom, based in the U.S. due to interconnectivity problems. We couldn't really get across to him. Hopefully, next edition, you get to his views and opinion. Maybe, peradventure, after the supplementary election, talking about matters that took place during the election. But right now, we are diving into it. Samuel, do you feel the same pulse as it was during the time of the main election?
Wilson, if you ask me of my own personal opinion, I think the pulse has gone very, very down. Why the pulse has gone very, very down? Because the presidential election on its own, I think it was much even more fairer, more better, lesser violence, lesser stealing of ballot boxes, etc. in Edo State, for example, because I use Edo State as a case study. Why in the House of Assembly election, I think I was most disappointed because we are brought back to 20 years elections. These are situations that we never expect that we will be going back there again. We thought we have overridden that, we have overheated, overcrossed that system of ballot box stealing, ballot box destroying, violence of shooting. I think it is saddening. It is very saddening because we experience it almost everywhere in Edo State, and it was very, very poor. I felt very, very bad. And I think that situation too will also discourage a lot of people that believe in this democracy that is going to grow, that it can be built on, and that we can perfect it more better, even though there's no perfect democracy in the world. But there are a certain attitude, mentalities, behaviors that we're not supposed to be seeing anymore. So I think it has discouraged a lot of people. And coming this supplementary election, from my own observation, from my own feedbacks in the street, a lot of people believe there's nothing coming out from it anymore. because the mightier is going to win it. Why I say the mightier?
You talk about the mightier, the mightiest of them, or please explain, because speaking in parables.
Yeah, I will explain the mightier. Yeah. The mightier in the sense that if you talk of financial power right now, to pursue this supplementary election, the PDP party is in power, it's in government. They have the finance.
The APC is in the federal.
Listen.
Labour is waxing strong.
Listen. Let me just analyze it for you. Listen. They are there. They have the force. They have the police. They have the control over all. And it is a very, very few segment election. So all the forces of the government is going to concentrate on it. The APC, on the other hand, you might likely say we are in the federal, but it has less influence in this grassroots election. It has less influence. Because if you look at the few candidates remaining in the APC, I think 2 or 3 of them, I don't believe, my own opinion, as an APC man, I don't believe they will have that financial muscle to be say, let us counter whatever that is going to come from the government in power, to be able to have a free and fair election.
Are you insinuating that money will play its part in this election?
Money is going to play part in the election. Security, influence is going to play a high part in this election. If we are not even careful, we are still going to experience the thuggery that happened in most places more massively this time. Because, you know, during the other election, most of the talks were spread to different units, different wards, segmented. You understand? So it was different. But this time around, all are going to concentrate on the few parts the election is going to take place. So we should be, many people are afraid. So they're going to be a voter party, that is 100%. Labour Party, for me, from what they have seen so far from this election, I think that fire that was with them has burned down. It has burned down. That fire is not going to be there because what they expected, the way they did well in the presidential election in Edo State, what they expected in the House of Assembly was a total dismantle of the Labour Party to have only 2 out of 24. When you were able to win House of Representatives, which are more zones, they did very well in House of Rep. You understand? So I think the fire has gone down because they are disappointed. I think it's only one place they are even leading, which is in Ego. So, and Ego, the government have interest. I tell you, the government have interest in Ego constituency.
Now, anyway,
to build on their
INEC to do with that. Yes, let's INEC to do with that.
If not, the Ego, what happened in Ego? I think it was a disappointment for my INEC too, not to call that result. Well, because the amount of votes,
their reasons.
The amount of votes, according to the way they always explain, was very, very less.
Okay. Anyway, so since you are not INEC, let's allow INEC to do their job. Let's say it's a supplementary election.
So let's look at it from that aspect.
Yes.
I think my brother would do a lot of work. He's a mobilizer. He will try in Ego.
Okay. Now, apart from Ego, we have other places.
We have Oredo East, my constituency.
Yes, even
like in my constituency,
even across the federation.
Like in my constituency,
yes,
there's just few units are waiting to be voted. Those few units, I don't think there will be that mobilizations. So then we will not go to federal constituencies. Federal constituencies in the sense that look at the states where these results are being suspended. You understand? There's a lot of volatile situations there. There was a lot of power torso. They didn't want to give up. The incumbent did not want to give it up. The incoming didn't want to give it up. And you find out that most of those incumbents were losing. They were losing. So now, it is not left for the incumbent now to muzzle himself, to muzzle finance, to make sure he defeats the newcomer. And if you look at the parties that are dragging this situation, like the NMPP in one side, with some that were suspended, Labour Party in some that was suspended, while PDP too in some. But majority are the smaller parties. So I believe they will be muzzled out. That is my belief.
So from what you said, that there'll be muzzling, there'll be intimidation. Is that what you're saying?
Definitely.
But still, this era is an era for free, fair, credible election. Why are you having these feelers that there will be intimidation, there'll be muzzling, there might be violence, according to your own analysis, of which one of the security personnel is saying that everything will be okay because they'll be that they have fewer units, fewer ward, fewer local government to man.
Listen, the reason I'm saying so, we take experience from history. We take experience from the past. If you look at the election that we just did, the 2015-2019 election was even more peaceful, more free, fair, because there was less violence in the country in the process of exercising the electoral procedure. But this time around, this election 2023, there was almost no state, there was no violence. There was almost no state, there was no intimidation of, don't vote for this party, you must vote for this party. Look at what happened in the East. The APC were intimidated, the PDPs were even intimidated as well. Who were the big parties? They have the velocity of structures. They have the representative in eastern part of the country, the southeastern part of the country. But what votes came out for Labour there? 90%, 97%, 80-something%. It is impossible. It was due to intimidation.
You
we
are
saw
not
videos.
There. You
we
are
saw
not there.
videos on social media, even though they are not verifiable. We see, even though they are not verifiable, we know which of the election Labour Party contested in. Labour Party did not contest that much in 2019, 2015. That will not say the video were dotted or one thing or the other. We saw where people were being intimidated that if you vote for this party, they'll kill you. And some were even being paid. For the first time in the history of Nigeria, we know this was happening in the north. Children used to vote, the minors. We saw them. For the first time in the history of Nigeria, in the southeast, it was happening. Children from schools were voting, paid.
But these are unverifiable results. We just
Yeah,
can't,
they were
we just can't verify these videos. After all, make it on the social media. It cannot be verified.
There are videos going around the corner. It is only a pity that our country we are, the security agency does not know the needful to do in such situations. Because if it was in Europe, those videos would be investigated by the DSS, by the police, to see really if those crimes were really committed. But they are crimes. They are crimes against electoral acts. But because of our country, we know how it is. Crimes of electoral act, crimes are being committed. Nobody is being persecuted. Even people make inciting statements. People are not being persecuted. You understand? So it becomes a norm that we say it's not verifiable, it's not verified. But these things happen. So if we have all this evidence of violence, I have a reason, I have the opinion to believe in such supplementary election, which is more smaller, which the incumbent, which the government empowers, which the forces that owns the states have more influence to intimidate, have more influence to influence the results. Because they have, I always say it, politics in Nigeria is based on this a lot. It's finance. We saw what the government brought out in Edo State for this House of Assembly election.
You're talking about the government. What about the federal character? Because there are these claims and counter-claims that almost everyone brought out money. So it's not peculiar to a particular set of party or set of persons.
In every politics,
yes,
money is always involved. I always tell you, money is always involved. It is who has the strongest
financial muscle.
Financial muscle to be able to pull the force of the people. Because when you go to the election ground, even as far as to this election, there were Labour Party agents that came to meet me. This is not say somebody say now, a party day, you don't know what to do for you. What does that language mean? We say, what did they know what they do for you means, or what they will settle us. And I wish I was having the financial power.
I've been tempted to do it.
Definitely, I would have called them to the side, blessed them very well. After blessing them, they will give me the votes. It is a norm. The other party were doing it too. But because in this election, I would say APC really did not spend money. It was like no shishi election in our side. It was the agents that were paid. Even United, we are not even paid. So we all work like a voluntary force. While most other parties, the agents, the security, the members, we are canvassers, we are paid, even ahead before the election day, which we have prior to the informations, because my junior ones are in PDP, which some even have SSA, because the election was coming, they were giving SSA. Don't you know what that means? If you are given an appointment from the government, you have already been there induced.
So what about the ones that got appointment from the federal, like APC also?
Look, which appointments?
Because right now, let's be balanced here.
Which
because
appointment?
We
You
are taking a look at the holistic picture.
5 people got appointment in APC in Abuja, and 200 people given appointment in Edo State here to work as an SSA, to be a force against 200 people. It is not possible. This was selectively done from different units and zones so that there are forces in those places.
Anyway,
and when those people are already induced,
all these SSAs, they are like, empowered to make sure that the government of Edo State works seamlessly.
They work for the government. They tried. There's no doubt about that.
Anyway,
they work for their money. It's allowed.
What the thing is that if you keep talking about working for their money,
Yes.
we're talking about elections right now.
Yes.
We are totally against money politics. Then how come all parties are involved?
Because
none is spared.
It came to the boiling again to us that money still have power. And this election, if you know the reason money has even more stronger power, even against what the federal government and Emefiele thought they were going to do. They thought they were going to seize the financial power of the politicians. They were going to seize their muscles of finance. But listen, you saw what happened in Delta State. This new Naira note that was not in circulation was everywhere. In bulk. In Edo State, we see million coming out. Some committee were giving 6 million. 6 million.
What about in Lagos State?
Listen now.
What about in Port Harcourt?
Where did those money come from?
Because it's
where
like,
did those money
it's
come
like
from
everywhere.
now?
Yes, that's a big question.
They wanted to seize it.
Because it's
they
like,
put
hold on now,
hold on. To money.
Hold on now.
Because you that don't have
Samuel,
5,000 naira, you go to bank and sleep back. Wait, listen to me.
Hold on. It's like this allegation or this assertion cuts across all political parties.
I'm not speaking that this party or this party alone. If you listen to what I'm saying,
yes,
I say all played a muzzle politics. The strongest, the highest financial muzzle won because they used it this time around. How were they able to influence the people with it? Because we say you stay in bank for like 3 days before you can even get 5,000 naira. You go in the morning till in the evening, you don't have 5,000 naira. And somebody is offering you 20,000 naira or 10,000 naira just for 1 day, just to put one fingerprint in one paper. Would you be tempted? Would you be tempted with it? Ask yourself first. When he has been looking for since 3-4 days for 5,000 naira from his own money to withdraw, he cannot. The children are hungry at home. And somebody said 10,000, 5,000. Now, sharp, listen. Nigeria were collecting it. You saw even women with kids. They were pushing each other. Go collect your own. Go collect your own. With kids. Because the money, they needed it. The cashless situation even influenced the politics. to be more financially induced. Unlike last elections. This time around, people got as far as 5,000, 10,000 to vote. Some were even giving dollars. So we are giving
But do you see it
safers.
happening right now in this parliamentary election of becoming?
So we are even giving safers.
Do you see it happening in the forthcoming election next week, Saturday 15th?
Listen, Nigeria politics, this 2023 election, the direction has been given. Let no man deceive anybody. Money is going to play a role. Intimidation is going to play a role.
Okay.
We can't take it away.
Now let's take a look at voters' apathy. At the beginning, you said the pulse is quite low. From your own analysis, you gave reasons. But do you think that money can change the pulse of the election to make people come out? Also, in that regard.
Well, as at the moment, I believe many are very discouraged. I still remember that statement. Many are very discouraged over the outcome of the elections. You know, when you believe you voted this person in majority, and somebody comes and steals the ballot box away, and later results are being announced in those places, and somebody come and tell you again that you should come out again without motivation to come and still vote again, and probably ballot box will be restolen again. Because this time around, the influence of high security is not there. Because in the general elections, you have hotspots where there are soldiers, you have hotspots where there are polices, you have hotspots which are armed officers. I would just use general armed officers. Because in the election units and zones, ground, they are not armed. But those armed policemen and soldiers, it kind of puts a lot of fear in some certain few people that wishes to distort and obstruct elections, that wishes to steal ballot boxes, in masses. So in few places they were able to succeed was because they were influenced by the police officers that were afraid. Because they came with gun, start shooting an officer without an arm, a civil defense without a gun, immigration without a gun. He will run for his dear life first. So those situations took place in places where it was kind of weak. But in this election, those widespread security is not there. It's not there. There will not be that massive security. So these boys will be able to feel free to do what they feel they want to do. The police is telling us security is going to be there. Security that is not carrying a gun. That when they come, they start running, helter-skelter. Is that the security? So I think it's going to be like a one-way show.
One-way show?
It's going to be a one-way show. I know you won't want me to say the one-way show.
No, because right now, security agents, they'll be giving guarantees that, look, there'll be security on the ground. They have fewer grants. Samuel, they have fewer grants to cover. At least the presence of police will be felt this time around in all these wards and units. I mean, that should create a kind of a difference in your own picture you're painting in your head right now. Being a one-man show, a one-way show.
Listen, the man that is coming, roaming around to inspect that supplementary election, take for example Edo State. The man is going there with mopos, with security, with one extra helos and helos with some men inside. I passed them a lot when I was on observation. When that kind of a man comes to that kind of supplementary elections, I wonder what my young agent boy is going to be able to do against
all right, now,
such person.
What you're painting right now, do you think is going to be obtainable in all that parts of the country?
He's going to go to one side and let them do what they have to do. The next thing we just do, it happens in these elections, where we went to, when they just come without their healers, everything, our agents, because some of them had some pains in them because they were not paid this time around on time and all those things, They just do go to the corner and go and be drinking beer. They allow them to carry the ballot box and go away. You know, we saw it. One even happened in one of the primary school in my area, back of my house. The guy just came. There were police out there. The guy just came. As he came, he just looked at them. And before the guy came, somebody was threatening from Labour Party, an agent of Labour Party. Anybody will just do anyhow here, will just cut your hand, will just kill her. He was threatening. Before he knows, in his front, he's just saying the word, they will kill him. Somebody came in his front and carried a whole bunch of counted votes and walked away. He was trying to hold the man. Another person, which is probably is a co-robber, took the labor agent and fling him away so that the other one can run away with the material.
And people witnessed this.
People witnessed it. People were only shouting, Mona, hola, Mona. They entered the healers, the Padro Jeep, and drove away. Who want to pursue Padro Jeep? We'll see.
If you just joined us, this is TMI. We'll take a look at military election matters arise. So you just hold on, want to go for a break. When we return, we'll continue with this discussion. I have Samuel Higato. He shared his experience during the past election. He said it's going to be a one-way thing. And he said that the pulse of the people is so low, and that may just give us to voters apathy. He also talked about the party with the highest financial muscle. Come this Saturday may just take the day. How do you feel about this? Don't go away. We'll be right back after this break.
TMI, every opinion counts.
Thank you so much for staying tuned. If you just joined us, this is This Morning on ITV. We're taking a look at the supplementary election. Yes, matters are rising. With me here in the studio, Samuel Ehigiato, a political analyst, political affairs commentator, and entrepreneur, a youth mobilizer. He'll be sharing his thoughts and opinion on this particular discourse. Well, Samuel, you're giving your own opinion, saying that it's going to be like a one-man thing, and it's going to be survival of the fittest, talking about the one with the strongest financial muscles. But the security agencies are giving assurance that since they have fewer land mass to cover, security personnel be on the ground to make sure that there is law and order. If that be the case, I think that it should be encouraging for people to come out there to exercise their franchise.
Definitely, definitely. You know, we have one problem. The police tells us they are going to be fully on ground. There's no doubt that the police are not on ground. What you are not understanding, Wilson, at those polling units, there are no armed policemen. There are no armed policemen. There are no armed officers. So there's still a threat. For me, when they are there in that polling unit, I take them like observers, not really security. The main security are those ones that are armed, that are patrolling. So if really they can tell us, this area now that the elections are going to take place, there will be armed policemen to prevent such irregularities that happened in the last elections. I think many of our members will come out. But it is never the case. But another thing you should also
What do you mean it's never the case? Because they'll be there to protect lives and properties.
If you look at these places now, that ballot boxes were stolen, that ballot boxes were destroyed. Some were not stolen, some were destroyed. Were we not guaranteed absolute security by the government of the day? We were even told there would be soldiers at hotspots, there would be this. So we felt really secured and free. That's why you saw a lot of people came out and mass because they felt insecurity is going to be there. But now that they have made twice an experience, that shows to us that really the security is not really there as supposed. It discourages. It's the major a problem that leads to voter apathy. Because when you know your vote cannot be secured, your vote might not count. You know your vote can be stolen. Just say, let me don't waste my time going out. Let me cook some good food, eat with my family, and have a nice day. Majority have counted this election as over.
As over?
Yes, a done deal.
But that is not the right mentality.
A done deal in the sense, the 3 places, constituency, that elections is going to take place. First and foremost, you know, this obedient movement is not, many of the obedient people, they will tell you we are not Labour members, Labour Party members. We are obedient. The fire of obedience that was coming from churches, from different places, you know, it's not going to be there in these supplementary elections. So this motivation, that force, I'm gonna go vote.
So you mean everybody will now, or most of them will fall back to that base?
Everybody is already falling back to base. Even in this election, some people traveled down to come and vote obedient because they felt they want to give a sign this time around. So when they were voting obedient, they vote every other candidate, irrespective not knowing who was there or not. Because most of those candidates
they all went one way.
They just went one way. So like now, that momentum is no more there. So that one will first of all drop majority of the obedient at home. 2, like the APC, which I belong, so far so good, I have not seen the motivations from our leaders to really motivate us, the youths, or the members.
What kind of motivation are you talking about?
No, listen.
Yes.
In politics, there are certain things that must be put in place. Certain things that must be put in place. And those things, putting those things in place is finance. You can't do without it. I don't deceive people. If I said that my party does not bring out money. No, there are money brought out by every party to do logistics, to do a lot of things that are supposed to be done to make sure that the party agents there and are going siriwere, without complaints.
So I mean right now, no logistics.
So
no momentum from them.
Then when the momentum is not there, do you want me to go and spend my money whistling? To go and defend a leader that is not ready to bring out his own? For me to do the job? It is not going to be possible. We should tell ourselves the truth. If the leaders want a high momentum, they would dip very deep into their pocket, because who they are going to meet has already deeper than them. So if they're not ready to dip into the pocket, to bring it out properly, how much shall we see? Most of our boys will sit at home, because those that even work in the last elections are yet even to be paid. I'm just talking about my party now. Many are yet to be paid, as we are still speaking, after 2 elections. So what is the momentum for those boys not to come out again? What is going to encourage them not to say, let's do it for this candidate, or let's do it for this party?
Is it doing it for the party or doing it for the money?
Look at it. You are doing it for the party in the first instance, because party is supreme. Then secondly, there is this personal interest everybody have that makes you to say, I want to work for this candidate, especially because you believe in the candidate, you know what he can do, you know if he gets there, you will be carried along. There will be empowerment, there will be democratic impactations. These are the things that motivates a man to say, yes, I want to work. Then you now give him the the financial logistic to do his job. Then he will work with you 100%. But when the logistic is not there, and he's using his voluntary mind, some people spending our money to work for the party, and then you hear some situations that after doing all this job, after spending your money to get this vote, And one person come, they steal the vote. And you are discouraged with them. You are discouraged.
So if you want to, like,
why some parties, they were already paid 2 days to the elections. It will be motivated because
it's
transportation is there.
It's like for what you said right now, it's all about the money.
No, listen to me.
Yes.
If you are a unit head, I just give you a little breakdown.
Breakdown.
If you are a unit head, you are going to pay for your 2 agents. You are going to pay for your 2 security.
And this costs money.
You are going to pay for canvassers as well. Then when you finish paying all these ones, the voters, sometimes when they are there in the sun, as a unit head, most times you feel it is your responsibility. You go and buy meat pies. You go and buy soft drinks to give to them so that they feel comfortable. Sometimes we go and bring chairs, rent chairs for them so that the elderly one can sit down. Is it not money?
Even the pregnant ones too.
Yeah, the nursing mothers.
Yeah.
So you must give them that comfort. Is it your money you are going to use? We see. Sometimes you spend like 50,000 to 100,000 on that day alone on there. Because if you look at, first of all, the unit peradventure, you take the minimum amount to pay for 5,000. Two is already 40,000. Canvassers, 5 canvassers, for example. You have already spent 40,000, 50,000 away. Then, do you know what it costs? Beverages. To buy me pie. I went to Ogba. When I was in Ogba unit, poly unit, the election was going very, Ebo. It was Ebo. The election was going very well. I love the atmosphere. Getting to that place, as an electoral observer now, everybody started shouting, Epadokon, chair. Eparas don't come. That Eparas don't come. They expect you now to do
something.
The first thing I have to do first is call the boys to one side. I want to buy cartons of beer for them. That one already, first of all, cost me 12,000 for that 2 cartons.
But is that not inducement?
Not inducement. It's refreshment.
Wow, interesting.
It's refreshment.
All it takes and terms.
It's a logistic refreshment. Then the women started shouting, just do anything for us. Just do anything. I saw a lady selling meat pie. She had about 2 boxes of meat pie. I asked her how much. She said 300 naira. Listen, I bought the whole meat pie in those 2 boxes. We shared it. Whether you were Labour, whether you were PDP, whether you were APC, we shared across board. These are costs.
You spend money also.
You spend money. Then maybe you want to still go. Some will tell you, if I don't have transport to go home. If you have something little, you must give. It's 500, 1,000. Take, gather, go house. If you have finished working. These are costs. And then you imagine that cost, not only in one unit now. It happens across, like in my ward, we have 88 units. It's going to happen across 88 units. To imagine 50,000, 100,000 per unit.
Per unit.
You're talking of millions.
Wow. You just give me a maths in politics right now. That means it cannot be done without money.
It cannot.
And you don't see the money coming out this time. It's voluntary election.
Money is going to come at a mass. But only from those that have it. From those that have it to spend, we see. Because like my own candidate in Oredo East right now, that young man have spent hell believing to win an election once and for all. He did not plan there would be a supplementary election. Now, he's going to go now again to go and look for source for funds. And this time, even more than what he spent in the normal election, to be able to challenge the other muzzle power that I said is one way that he's going to fight with. So, I don't know how he's going to do it. I pray he's able to source for those funds. then I will be in the street to work for him. My boys will be in the street to work for him.
And others will be mobilizing for their own persons.
Definitely.
So all parties will mobilize according to the financial muscle.
Yes.
So it's all about finances this time around.
Yes. That is the basic of a supplementary election. Because you're going to see that day, if there are observers going around from the press, you will see where they always sit down in one corner. Don't vote. Don't vote. Don't vote.
All right.
To increase the velocity of the votes.
Okay. Our time is almost up. It's almost up. PD Sonny go, bro. Okay, all right.
I always tell you one thing,
right.
Election listening.
Yes.
As at the moment, Nigeria election, all party rings, but the smartest wins.
So all party rigs election,
but the
smartest wins. Or the most rigger wins.
Yeah,
for now. Well, INEC could be like
the smartest.
INEC could be like, well, we were here to conduct free, fair, credible election.
They were
outsmarted.
They were outsmarted.
Oh, you mean INEC was outsmarted?
Yes,
by politicians?
Yes.
Wow.
They were outsmarted.
This is the first time I'm hearing this.
Listen, don't let us deceive ourselves. The politicians are smarted.
So the umpire, they were outsmarted the politicians?
Yes.
Wow, that's interesting.
They were outsmarted. In the north, they were outsmarted. Let me take Kano State, for example. They were outsmarted by the NNPP.
Yeah, well, you are not there. It's what they saw. That's what they reported.
For a state to bring 1 million for only one party, when the state have other parties, structures. Then you take, for example, that you don't believe they were outsmarted there?
Don't you think it was a massive law for the party? Because you go to Port Harcourt, come to Edo, go to Lagos, go to Osun, they have their own reason why they do what they do.
In some certain area, the INEC was outsmarted. In the south, they were outsmarted. I don't have to put water in my mouth to say it, listen.
Wow.
I'm not saying anything that don't have a proof.
Thank you.
Because we watched it, we have watched videos. Like me, I wake up at 5:30 every day. The first thing I do, I on my telly. I will watch channels. I will watch TVC. I will watch Arise, even though I don't like Arise so much, because they were...
That's your own sentiment.
Yeah, because they are kind of sentimental.
Anyway.
I watch ITV. I watch EBS. Then I'll go to the international news. Okay. CNN and co.
It's okay.
You know, I'm briefed daily. Not that it's once in a while.
Thank you.
There are people in Nigeria, they don't even watch the national news.
They go international.
They watch that CNN, BBC.
Thank you.
Sometimes they don't put drama, Z-word, and films.
But we the newsmen watch all channels.
And
thank you.
Nigerians should be educated to be watching news.
Thank you, Aras.
So that they know what is happening in Nigeria.
Our time is up. Our time is up. I really appreciate the wonderful analysis. Some would say he spoke as a typical Nigerian. The courts across board brought out so many things according to his own report that the courts across political party. For what he said, not me, and I quote him, he said all party rigs, but the smartest win. And one thing that really shook me a little bit, he said INEC was outsmarted by the politicians. How true is this? Outsmarting the umpire of the game. Yeah. That's deep. That's deep. We're going to excavate. We're going to dig more into that phrase. They were outsmarted by the politician. How come? How managed? How did it happen? They will throw more light on that.
More on that next
Samuel, thank you so much. I appreciate the wonderful analysis. His opinions, they are his. If you really take a look at what he said, it wasn't, though he belonged to a party, he wasn't partisan. He gave true life experience on what he feels would be the outcome of the military election. Is it going to be one way, or the one with the highest financial muscle, the strongest support financially will take the day, or the people's choice and opinion will count if it's not been influenced by ego, owo, kudi, Benjamin, the bills. That is money. Anyway, Saturday is a time for the election. I believe that all through this week we'll be talking about the election to inform people on what to do, how to go about it. Just go out there, cast your vote, support your candidate, support your party. It is allowed. Don't do anything that is inimical to the electoral act. Samuel, thank you once more. I appreciate you. Happy Easter to all of you there. Celebrate because Christ has risen. Bye for now. you.